Hello, and welcome back to the Grunt Perspective. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the Flick, um, the fighting load carrier. If you were in the Marine Corps, you probably know it as the LBV, load bearing vest. And mainly, if it is still a usable option for infantrymen. The short answer is yes, but I want to kind of go through an example setup and then some of the modifications that I've made to make this more usable throughout the years. So this is going to be a little bit different than any of my other videos because in all of my other videos, I'm showcasing my gear and my equipment that I actually use. I have used the Flick before, but this is not something that I am using currently. The last time that I did use the Flick, I was young and stupid, and mine was certainly not set up how it is now. If it would have been set up how this one is, then I would have had a lot better time with it. But you know, hindsight is 2020. Everyone was young and dumb. I would probably say I still am. So I'll go through it. Just keep in mind that this is not something that I'm currently using. So if that changes your opinion on how you view the video and what I'm saying about it, then I guess, you know, now you do know that. But the Flick, like many things that the DoD uses, is hit and miss. It's really not that bad. It just came from a different time. It came from a time where body armor was pretty new. Uh, Not new, but it was very much still in its like phase where we didn't wear body armor all the time, and it wasn't our standard thing to wear body armor. Um, Body armor at the time that this thing was around was more of a capability that we could use it if we wanted to, and then from there, we normally didn't use it. Obviously, in Iraq, Afghanistan, and all of those countries in the Middle East, we were wearing body armor all the time. And so that kind of forced body armor to evolve more because draping this thing over body armor, while it can be done and it's not terrible, is not the most efficient way to do that, right? Especially in the Middle East and stuff like that, like being able to separate your fighting load and your armor wasn't a capability that guys needed because they were wearing body armor all the time. So the Flick started to get phased out. You see like early pictures of body armor didn't have Molly on it, and then as like it started to get updated, now the vests are covered in Molly, and then people just started putting their pouches straight onto their vests because why would they not? Why would you carry two separate pieces when you can carry one piece and still carry all the things that you need to carry? That being said, right, now that you understand a little bit about the Flick and where it came from, this one is a particularly old one because it's in the woodland camouflage variant, the M81 camouflage, which everyone loves nowadays. But I got literally everything that you see here at surplus stores, minus maybe a couple things, like two things, like the push to talk, right, and I think that's actually the Garmin, obviously, right, but yeah, like I put this together for probably less than $100. So if this is something that you're issued and you are using currently, then you know that is what it is. But if this is like, if you're trying to get into this kind of like tactical, whatever the fuck you want to call this community, then this is a really cheap way to get into it. And if you are looking to buy one, you can go to Contingency Reserve on Instagram. You could go to Venture Surplus. You could probably go to any surplus store and find one. It is a widely available piece of gear that is not very expensive. And with a little bit of modification, it turns into a very nice and usable like chest rig. So the flick in its standard configuration is supposed to be like a split rig. It has it has two buckles, one up here, one down by the belt, or if you have a later model, it has a zipper and then a buckle on the top. And this belt portion here, with this buckle is normally facing the front. And it's really easy to take out and spin around. You can see that on the back side of the vest here, you have these like stiff plastic tuck tabs that you just untuck these, and on both sides. Normally the harness runs into these same buckles on the back of the belt, and then you have like kind of like a battle jacket belt kit hybrid thing, but you just unroute all the straps, and then you can literally just pull the belt out from one side, and that's what I've done. And then you reinsert the belt and you flip it around to the rear, so the buckle is now in the back, which makes it a much more modernized, much more usable piece of gear for most people, for most riflemen. If you're like a machine gunner or maybe a DM, a sniper, or something like that, and you're using this, then you might still benefit from having it being able to split apart in the front. But for like riflemen, having it converted to like the chest rig model is probably going to be the best way to go for you. Now, when you flip the belt around, there's nothing that holds the front together. So what you do is you take your center molly pouch and you use the molly straps to hold the front together. That's what this magazine pouch is doing for me there. And then on the top here, you won't be able to see it, but there's usually a buckle here. You can see the frayed ends of where I cut it. I cut the strap off, I broke the buckle and took it off just because I was never going to use that buckle. And then my admin pouch up top here is also holding the top of the vest together. So that is a huge modification that's going to make it a lot more modern, a lot more usable. But you may not want to do it based off of what your specific job is. Being able to unbuckle the front is something that a lot of people like. Also, if you choose to keep the front like open, this molly belt here wraps all the way around the back, and then you have all molly back here. So not really something that's going to be super useful for infantrymen because we have to wear backpacks. But if this is like, if you're trying to make like a SADF like pattern 83 like battle jacket at home, you could do that with this if you choose to keep it with the split front. I have chosen not to do that, obviously, because like I just said, I need to wear a pack. Now, with all the kind of background of the flick out of the way, kind of start talking about my example, like a loadout here. Excuse me. So we'll start on this side here. The first thing I have on the far back is a 1-quart canteen pouch with a 1-quart canteen. And then on the canteen, I have some water purification tabs taped to it. On the pouches, I love these USGI canteen pouches because they have these little pockets, and I use them to put all kinds of stuff in. So on the back side of the pouch here, I have 4 AA's and 4 AAA batteries. And then on the front side of the pouch, I have a cami paint compact, which is always being used. On these, if you've seen my video on the ATAP, this is very similar. I had them mounted up all the way up, but I had to drop them down one level because I was worried about the clearance of rucksack straps. And then once I dropped them down, I was able to put my ruck on fine. But if I would have had them all the way up here, then it wouldn't have worked very well. So I got 1 quart of water, which is, in my opinion, less than what I would normally want. But because this doesn't have like integral mag pouches, you're going to have to eat up 6 rows of molly here just to mount magazines on. So normally I would like to have 2 quarts of water on my gear, but in this case, I can't do it. So that's kind of a compromise there, but whatever. So next thing, a USGI flashbang pouch containing a tourniquet marked with a little bit of red tape there. Just standard cat tourniquet. I have 2 of them on the rig, 1 on each side, so I could get to it with either hand. Coming up to like the shoulder apparatus here, I have a Garmin. This is a 601 GPS, just a training thing. Don't use these in combat or you'll get killed, right? But for training, it's nice. I have some shears tucked behind. Come on now. Oh man. I just died because I couldn't get my shears out, right? But I have some shears tucked behind my grenade pouches here. Because the Flick has so much molly up on the front of it, you can mount 2 grenade pouches, one on top of the other here, which is going to be necessary because of the limited space. So 2 grenade pouches, a blue body, and then down here I got another blue body as well. Always got to have frags. A lot of infantrymen seem to forget about carrying frag grenades, and that is a mistake. You will appreciate having frag grenades. Then on to the front here, I have 3 Tactical Tailor, the universal magazine pouches. They hold 3 magazines each for a total of 9 magazines. One of the things I normally like to have on my kit is a smoke grenade pouch, at least 1, preferably 2. Again, because of the limited space here, I couldn't do that. But one of the cool things about the universal magazine pouches is I could take 2 of these magazines out and then I could fit a smoke grenade in there as well. And I still have 7 magazines on my kit. And then I could put these 2 in my pockets which is probably what I would do, right? But yeah, 9 magazines up front. Some of these guys out here. Always got to have magazines. And of course, for this video specifically, I went with the aluminums to kind of fit the time period. They do work with PMags though, or at least mine do. I've heard some people say that theirs don't work. Tactical Tailor kind of changes how they sew things. Like on these ones specifically, like some of the Velcro is positioned higher versus lower than some of my other ones. All of these ones seem to be about the same, but yeah. Now, already talked about the Garmin. I got a fucking generic no-name admin pouch up on the top here. And I usually don't like admin pouches, but in this one, it's kind of necessary to hold the Flick together. And then plus there's like nowhere else to put other stuff, especially once you convert it to the chest rig kind of thing here. You can no longer get to these built-in admin pockets on the inside of the rig without like taking the rig off. So inside here, I've kind of my normal stuff. I've got, my signal mirror, my Ranger card, my whistle for audible and visual signals, a couple chem lights back here, one of them being a buzzsaw. And then inside here, I also have a air panel for more visual signals. Now, going around here, I have my Disco push-to-talk. Next to it, I have a Tactical Tailor, a multi-tool pouch, with a Leatherman Wave inside there. Great multi-tool. And then I have a Tactical Tailor large radio pouch, which I have a fake prop radio in. This radio is not a Harris 152. It is a get that fucking thing out of there. It is a Happus 152, right? So there you go. Got some nice little Chinese props from China Chinese from China, obviously, fucking from China, for you guys make some better videos with. Coming around to the side in the same spot, another flashbang pouch with a tourniquet in there, again marked with some red tape to signify it. And then coming around again to the side here, I have a NVG pouch. You guys are going to think that this is funny. I was getting ready to put my whole like NVG pouch. I've made a custom NVG insert. It's pretty like rigid for my 31s. I'm probably going to show that on Instagram soon, but I was getting ready to put all that inside here. And then I thought to myself, you know, if you're using a flick, whether you're a civilian or in the military, chances are you're probably not using 31s. So I just have a regular PVS 14 insert inside here with a rhino and an elbow. I don't know. I thought that was funny. I laughed. If you didn't laugh, then I don't know. Flame me in the fucking comments. Then on the other side here, I have 4 123 batteries to fuel PEC 16s, PEC 15s, whatever you need that takes 123s, and then the NVG insert there. And that's all that I have on the front, but I have put some stuff on the inside here. Coming around to the inside here, I have, in one side, I have an MRE main meal. Always got to have some food with you, or it's nice to have some food with you. And then here, I have a small survival kit containing water purification tabs, tape, lighter, Tinder Quicks, space blankets, and some water bags to collect and purify water in. But yeah, that's, I hope it was a good example of a flick setup. Would highly, highly recommend converting this to like the chest rig type suspender system, I guess. If you can do it. If you're a rifleman, it's going to 100% work for you. If you are anything else, if you're a grenadier, it'll probably work too, but you'll have to get some different magazine pouches. But if you're a machine gunner or DMR, like I said, it might not be the right move for you, but this will 100% work for a rifleman. And then because I don't have room for it on the flick, I now have my IFAK inside of a Spiritus fanny sack here, marked with a little bit of red tape. Got the old school U.S. Army insert with all the IFAK stuff there. But yeah, like I said, kind of a weird video because I don't really use this. I feel weird talking about it. This feels like a gear review, even though most of my channel probably feels like a gear review. But this is like, you know, I don't really use this, so it's kind of me just talking about gear. Don't get used to this, by the way. I'm not going to be buying all kinds of fucking chest rigs and plate carriers and shit just to review. I'm not made of fucking money. So yeah, but with something real cheap like this, like, you know, surplus, I'll take a stab at it. Again, if you want to get a flick, check out Venture Surplus or Contingency Reserve. They have a bunch of them. They're probably ACU versions, but you're going to cover the whole fucking thing in pouches, and spray paint is cheap. So just, you know, buy it if you really are trying to get into having like a fighting load. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.